I sparkle. Oh, hey, we're live again.
Hey, we're live. That's how all great lives should start, Ken, is you going, is my eye sparkling or
My
eyebrow?
eyes
Is
like
my eyebrow twitching? I can't really
it's
tell.
sparkling
It
blue.
seems like I should press the go live button while I'm bobbing my head
Hey,
all around and weaving and
I
doing
just
that.
want to point out that on my phone, I can see that Andrea Levenscott joined us again.
Was she first both times?
She's the one that said she's laying in bed naked right now.
Oh, shouldn't we have a Starbucks gift certificate for that or something? I mean, that's dedication. Both times naked and both times immediately logging on.
She's in England. She's in England. It's 3:24 in the morning or 3 something in the morning there. So
maybe I'm just saying, maybe it's somewhat delightful that we've shown up in the UK at like 3:30 in the morning. You know, it's delightful.
Hey, you need to share this one out too.
Oh, I got to start over, don't I?
Yeah, you do. It's 3:45 in the morning. No, it's not. It's 3:33 in the morning.
Becky. Hello, Becky.
Hi, Becky.
All right, let's see.
I see Becky. There's Cindy. Haven't we been here before? Cindy, which page are you watching from? The Ken Walls fan page? You're not on my personal page. I can see that. Okay, so StreamYard does have a notice up saying that Facebook is not returning messages right now and that they have reported that. So, and Anna, is it Roundsville says, I think that definitely warrants a gift card or something. Dude, you're sending her, you have to send her a gift card now to Starbucks.
Well, she got to let us know. She got to know, we got to know where she is.
She's in England.
Oh my God. It'll cost $25 just to send a $20 card.
No, send it through. You send it digitally, man. Send it.
I don't know how to do that. Why don't you do it and I'll pay you back?
Oh, dear Lord. If I had a nickel for every time somebody said that to me.
Well, we've only been friends for 2 months, dude. I'm one of the people that does pay back when I say I'll pay that back.
I'm teasing you. So now I see Cindy's comments. I see that Tamara Thompson is on. Anna says DM that info. There you go. We have, I'm sorry, it's Kara? Is that what she said? Kara
is correct.
Kara. You know what it is? And
yes, Kara.
You know her.
Yes, I was letting you struggle with it.
Why would you do that to me? That's not fun.
Sheer joy, possibly. Sheer joy.
Wow. Cindy said, dudes. Larry says, take 2. And that would be affirmative. Do I see Vicky Fitch? I see Vicky Fitch. I love Vicky Fitch.
Okay, I'm hoping that I shared it out. Ken, do you want to double?
Hey,
you want to double check?
Vicky will Fitch slap somebody, just so you know.
Hey, so Ken,
yo,
let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Would you, and this question goes out to our audience as well, but would you right now, you're comfortable with saying your name? I mean, not your name, your age in public, right?
Yeah, I'm
okay. So you're 52 years old.
No,
right?
I am not. Bite your tongue.
Oh shoot! The cat's out of the bag.
Wow.
So you're 52 years old.
51. I'll be 52 in July.
Yes. But you keep advertising it as though July were in 4 days.
Hey, you can't see this.
It sounds like you're bucking for a gift. I got to be honest with you.
Cat Hill is on here. July 17th. And if you need my address, let me know.
Well, I do, because you sent me a coffee mug, and turnabout is fair play. But listen, I've got a serious question to ask you.
Okay.
Would you, and it's not a trick question, it's just, can you just hear the question for what it's worth and just yes or no is the answer?
Okay. You're making me nervous.
would you right now? I will never ever do that to you online. You know that. I'm never going to ask you a question that would make you genuinely uncomfortable online,
Okay.
because that shows a lack of class on my part.
Right.
Would you right now go out and buy yourself a suit to wear for 2034, the year 2034? Would you buy that suit this week?
I already did. I bought it a couple of years ago. It's a Hugo Boss. I paid hefty price for it, and I intend in
You plan on
2034
having it
to
around.
still
Let me rephrase it.
able to fit into that suit.
Okay, I'm rephrasing it. If there were an event and they specified that they needed you to look a certain way, and it's a talk that you're doing
Yeah.
in 2034,
Yeah.
would you buy that suit now, or would you buy it in 2034?
Probably now. I like to be prepared.
Why don't you choose our subject? Because mine just collapsed. This was so poised to be on the runway. And you and I are actually better when the wheels fall completely off, and it's proof that we are off the cuff, because I genuinely don't care if the wheels fall off. But I was trying to illustrate such a valid point. Maybe if we asked for live comments, someone else would give me a different answer.
We don't have all of the live comments, though, is the problem.
Okay, let me say this one more time.
Cat
You have
Hill's
an
on here.
option. I didn't say you only get, hello, Cat. I didn't say you only get one suit. You can buy several more suits, but the suit they are requesting for a night in question, random day, September 4th of 2034, would you wait and buy that suit in the summer of 2034, or would you buy it now? Or would you buy it earlier in 2034 or even 2033?
I would probably buy it closer to the actual date of having this necessity.
It seemed like an obvious answer, but you really drove me around the block with that one. So that seems to me okay. Let me ask it one more time, because now at least you're warm. Okay. When you're 17, would you buy a suit to wear for when you're 40?
Probably not.
Okay.
That's
why most relationships don't work.
Oh, snap.
That's my point.
Why are you this
is not an admission. This
is there a problem in your marriage that you're trying to
There isn't. But have there ever been challenges? Of course, because we're human. There is no current challenge. What I'm saying is, other than whatever challenges are associated with day-to-day living, but there's no challenge. There's not been a fight in a very long time. Yeah. And there's never been a knockdown, drag-out fight, because both of us respect the other one's imperfections.
I got to point out one thing really fast, please.
Okay.
I want you to see what Larry Schneider just said.
This is the best show on the planet.
That's unbelievably kind of him to say that.
It's believably kind.
I know, but
I'm gonna mess with you just like you're messing with me.
It puts an emphasis on the believably, kind of like.
Right, but I want to make this show as difficult as you're making it for me. I'm going to be contrary. I'm going to be contrary all night.
Well, hey, Glenn, thanks for stopping by, buddy.
I actually enjoy when you do that. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'm a glutton for punishment, but anyway, let me make my point, please, about this.
Oh my God. Okay,
I actually have some valuable insight to this. So I think what happens is, in long-term relationships, and notice I didn't even say marriage. I just said relationships. They can be marriage. They can be relationships where people are living with each other. They can be business partnerships. Any long-term relationship, that even includes family members, because certainly families have been known to make designs on one another's lives, and they have expectations. And sometimes the expectations that family members hold, unfortunately, are allowed. You know that I never support victim speak. So unfortunately, they are allowed to dictate outcomes, though they don't dictate outcomes, but they're allowed to if someone doesn't take a firm stand with family. So, and nothing triggered this. I didn't have anything weird happen today or even this week. This is just it's a powerful subject because I see so many people, and I will tell you, I see far more people getting by. And I'm talking about when things are good. I don't mean during this coronavirus time. So please know, this is not a comment about the last 7 weeks. This is a comment about the last 40 years that I've been paying attention to watching people in relationships since I was 21 years old. That was 40 years ago. So I don't see a lot of jubilance. And when I see jubilance, it indicates they've usually been together a few months.
Yeah.
Usually. I would never say always. And so I think it becomes about, what are we looking for in long-term relationships? What unrealistic picture do we hold? Do we expect our partner to jump out of bed and go, "Can't wait to spend the day with you, honey"? You know, I mean, Sam Kinison used to have feelings about that. That's a little unrealistic.
Yeah.
To expect. But you know, I often ask this to people. I ask them, what do you expect from your partner? Do you expect perfection? Do you expect them to always be in a great mood? Do you expect them to always say the right things? Do you expect them to never falter in any way, shape, or form? And that when you do, it's interesting, even in churches, and I've attended churches most of my life since I got out of being raised Jewish. Once I left the home, I was no longer practicing Judaism, but my father preferred that I didn't attend church while he was trying to get me bar mitzvahed because it was just spiritually confusing.
Yeah.
But, and there is some humor associated with that, rest assured. But once I headed out into the world, I discovered that everyone I've known in my life, and I've been asking this in my Extra Mile seminars and so forth, everyone I've ever met, when I ask for a show of hands, have you ever told a lie? Everyone in the auditorium raises their hand, bar none.
Yes.
Everyone. And then when I say, and how about now lies, plural, lies, still hold your hand up. Once again, it's everybody in the room. And if I ask, have you ever done something you're not proud of or that you wouldn't want the world to see? Once again, everyone holds their hands up. So this confirms beyond a shadow of a doubt that people are imperfect. That's me. That's you.
Yes.
So I'll own it and start with me. Now I have a really good life and I have a really healthy relationship with myself and principles. But that healthy relationship has been formed through trial and error. It has been formed by discomfort and finding out how much I don't like to feel uncomfortable.
Right.
I just don't like the feeling of unrest within myself. But here's the thing. No matter what I've ever said or done in my life, I've ultimately had no choice in order to greet today and experience its newness. I've had no choice but to get over it.
Right.
At some point, you got to let it go. Because if you don't, imagine this. What if windshield wipers said, "Nope, I am unwilling to remove the rain"?
Well, that would be
You would buy new wipers, would you not?
Well, yeah, assuming you made it through that trip, because
But I'm saying if they said,
your vision,
if they said I refuse to remove the rain,
yes,
then you would buy new wipers.
Correct.
So all of us have things that occur that obstruct our view. Yes. All of us have rain hit the metaphorical windshield of our life. Our job is to not linger in the rain. Our job is to wipe it away and get back to a clear view of what's true. And what's so. So I'm using windshield wipers as a metaphor to teach, because in acting, we hear the word no a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. And so many times over the years, people have asked me or asked other actors, God, how do you deal with a lifetime of rejection? Well, for starters, one of the first things you learn in my training is to quit processing it as rejection.
Mm,
It's not rejection. You can go in and be wonderful. In fact, at times, you can be the best person they read for the role and they still don't choose you. So you're not being rejected as long as you go in and move those people in that room.
right.
You move them, whether you're moving them to tears, you're moving them to laughter, you're moving them to pondering something that may be painful even. I take them to the fictional town of Considerationville. And I'll wrap this up, Ken. But what I'm saying is we're there as a moving presence. Then we've already done our job, whether they hire us or not.
Yeah.
So if I thought of all the non-hires in my life as rejection, I would have had to quit my business years ago.
Right.
So it basically, we have a choice as to how we want to package something. Yes, Cindy, change your mindset.
Yeah.
So I discovered that processing it as rejection was one of the unhealthiest things I could possibly do. To my original point, what I'm saying is this: the only way I can wake up and have a new day, a really new day with its freshness and its lightness, because I'm not carrying the burden and the weight of not only yesterday, but in some instances yesteryear. I want to present a clean slate every morning when I wake up. That's the greatest gift we can give back to life, is to be prepared to receive its newness. And I think that anything less than that is some form of sacrilege. To pollute today's intention to give us a beautiful new day because we want to dwell in the pains of yesteryear. And so with regard to a partner, if we're going to forgive ourselves for whatever it may be, I'm talking about anything under the sun, then we have to be willing to extend that same forgiveness and grace to somebody else.
Right.
And it turns out that even in churches, what I've seen a lot of is forgiveness is advertised and even talked about in classes as a concept.
Correct.
But when it comes time to actually apply it, it's quite another story. And I'm
Correct.
wondering what that's about. Like, how is it that we study so hard about what we're supposed to do if someone needs forgiveness, and yet when we need to actually do it at that point where the rubber meets the road, why is it so hard to forgive someone when, frankly, we have no choice but to forgive ourselves if we want to continue on with life? And I think long-term relationships are going to include, from time to time, some kind of letting go.
I agree.
Or forgiveness, or whatever you want to call it, you know?
Yes, I agree with you.
It's not even a heavy topic. It's just food for thought, you know?
I'm attempting something.
Sure.
Just so we can see the comments.
Okay.
Because as of this moment, we cannot see the comments. And I'm
looking at live comments.
No, you're looking at selective live comments, not the actual live comments.
Oh, really?
Oh.
I see a bunch of them. There have been several since Larry's comment.
But see,
there's the best show on the planet.
Here's what I'm trying to do. I can do it, but it's not going to look right, and I still don't think it's going to. See, I can share my phone screen, and you can see there's a lot of comments on here that you actually haven't seen.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to stop sharing that because it's not working. I'm sharing that through Zoom.
Well, if people were watching us via StreamYard, would their comments be?
They can't watch us via StreamYard.
Okay, I don't know how this stuff works.
That's. I mean, they could, but then they would all be on here with us, and that's not possible.
Okay, so Karen Toddy says, in any relationship, you must have an open mind with a plan for flexibility. Rigidity will break you and the relationship. That's a big yes on that one, Karen. Thank you.
Oh, look at this. We've got
that's Ina, one of my students.
Yes.
Any relationship requires a sense of humor. Let me correct it. Any successful relationship requires a good sense of humor.
Amen.
Well, you can tell Ina's an extra miler. Yes, indeed, my darling.
Yes.
It certainly does. It certainly does.
So Joan Anton is
Anton friend of mine in Pennsylvania from the Philadelphia area.
And he's saying that G, do I just call you G? What's up, G? Says I did a live on stream. Yeah, there's an issue with it communicating. There's a warning message that pops up in StreamYard. Actually, that I can prove too. That they have notified Facebook that comments are in fact not working properly.
So can you highlight Cindy's comment?
See that? Can you see that? Up there at the top says Facebook profile comments for just the profile. So if everybody goes to the Ken Walls fan page or to the
Glenn Morshower recently let out a prison page.
That one too. But anyway, nonetheless, so yes, if you're on my personal page right now and making comments, they are randomly. And I mean, when I say randomly, like 1 out of 10 are showing up. Brian Hess, Brian, are you on my fan page or are you on my personal page, bro? So it doesn't appear that the personal page comments are working with StreamYard and Facebook right now. They're not communicating.
Wow.
So I do believe I've seen, Karen is on the Breakthrough Walls page. Brian's on my fan page. So if you go over to the Breakthrough Walls or to the fan page, you will be able to comment and we will be able to pop your comments up on the screen. My question is this, Glenn. I mean, you and I have formed a really, really, I think, strong relationship.
We have, and it's not flavor of the month either.
And it's a lot of fun. It's deep. It's
stimulating.
It's two-way. It's two-way, right?
So
it's stimulating. But it's two-way. It's very balanced. And you know, I would love to hear someone else pop on here with us, not from your phone. You would have to be on a computer. And Karen says, I switched over to Breakthrough Walls from personal and you start. I see you in the comments on my phone right here. If you can see that, but I can't put your comments up on the screen. They're not showing up in StreamYard itself. So look, there's Sherry. She's on my fan page. Yep. Christy switched over too.
Do you know that I went out on my back porch last night and Sherry was there?
Really?
Yeah, it's weird. It's wherever I go, she pops up and it's impressive.
How?
I have no idea. I don't know if she has a clone, but if I drive if I see her and I go get in my car and I drive to Starbucks 3 blocks away, she'll be there as the barista.
Sherry Gideons?
Yeah, she'll be everywhere and just show up. I don't know how she does it. So there must be more than one Sherry. There must be like 8 of them.
Why?
Ken, I'm joking.
Oh.
Good Lord, you're easy.
I was waiting on the punchline.
You are so easy. Good Lord. Even Sherry's laughing. She's offering you clues by laughing.
Okay, so when things don't go exactly right, I stress out. And the fact that StreamYard is not communicating well with personal pages right now, it's got me a little bit stressed out. John Piper is on. John is down in John, you're in Dallas, aren't you? Sherry, I thought you were going to make some kind of a joke, a reference to the Gideons or something. I don't know. I was waiting on.
Well, she's the only one of your fans that has published a Bible. I know that much.
Mark Victor Hansen.
Have you not read Gideon's Bible?
I've seen it in lots of hotel rooms.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I want to.
Hey,
I want to
hey,
go to.
John Piper. I gotta tell John. Everybody is over on my on my fan page right now, dude. I can't pop up. I cannot pop your comments up on the screen from the personal page right now. There's an issue with Facebook communicating with StreamYard, so I can't pop your comments up. There's Christy Jones. We see you now. Love that. If you go over to Ken Wall's fan page or Breakthrough Wall's page, I will be able to pop your comments up like well.
Christy is suggesting that I caretake you a little bit through this tenuous period in your life. Say the next 3 or 4 minutes.
I'm good. I'm good. It was like, I'm trying to figure out why I wasn't seeing the comments. Look, I have to go left brain when that happens. And so my left brain finds, like, it could be the funniest thing in the world. And the left side of my brain is not going to find it funny when it's stuck there. It's the guy go into tech mode. Like, I got to solve this problem.
Kara says it's the important comments, apparently.
Yes. See, look, Brian believes in me at least. Thanks, Brian.
So can you highlight Cindy's comment about it being easy to forgive others? Because I want to comment on that.
Cindy. And
I want to say this, which
I don't see it.
Cindy Waldrop Hurley. It's easy. Yes, that one.
Okay, I'm going to let you do that while I go grab some water. I'll be right back.
Okay. So Cindy, go.
Are you going to miss me?
One of the things we don't.
Me?
Yeah, I'll miss you a lot. Go. One of the games that we do not play with each other or with the people that watch our show and our late night conversations, seldom midday, they're usually late at night, but we don't play with each other, I'm right and you're wrong, and with the audience, we don't play we're right and you're wrong. There's just alternate perspectives, that's all. And I am someone who respects difference of opinion. You know, I don't know that Ken and I see eye to eye politically. No, we don't talk politics on our show, but the point is, we both respect the other one's right to feel as we do, and we love each other. So you don't need to qualify and be the mirror image of me in order for me to love or respect you. I respect people who are committed to their principles and to their beliefs, and they do not need to mirror my own. So in this case, I want to offer you just a thought about that. You said it's easy to forgive others, maybe because we don't want to let go of our crap. And it sounds like there's a missing word there. Maybe it's easy to forgive others more than ourselves. Is that a word that you meant to put in there? Because if so, I want to pose this question, which is, why would it need to be any different? And I have a theory. I personally don't think that it is different, but that's only my own experience. I'm sure that you're speaking of your experience or maybe your perceptions of the way it is in the world. But I do know this. My 61 years have taught me this. Well, yes, and this is just my take as well, Cindy, and I'm so grateful for you that you chime in regularly. But I have had to safeguard against a condition that I refer to as chronic opinionitis, because I find that in dealing with most people, and I deal with people a lot, and I'm a peopleologist, right? I study people. And I've noticed that most people's opinions were not researched and formed independently of others. They were actually issued to them by someone in a position of influence, whether it was a parent, a grandparent, a friend, a teacher, a religious affiliation, a business associate, but somewhere along the line of imprinting, and we know that imprinting even begins pre-birth. It begins in the womb, because we do hear things in the womb. And if we hear, for example, a lot of conflict in the relationship between our mother and our father, we will be bearing the brunt of that imprinting upon birth. We're not born in neutrality if we've been exposed through the walls of the womb to such audio imprinting. This is not my theory. That's scientific fact. But with regard to the minute we form an opinion, I happen to believe that we should check that opinion out fairly often. Now, I can't give you an exact timetable. I can't say that we should check our opinion once a year or once every 6 weeks or 6 months, but I do know this: opinions are like oil. You need to check it from time to time. I do. We all do, because as more information is obtained, we can learn, much to our surprise, that the thing we have held to be true is really not true at all. And that we have held it to be true, or maybe it was true for a period of time. Maybe it has served us for a period of time, but now it's time to go into the cocoon modality and emerge as a different creature, to become that butterfly. And certainly the principles that applied to the butterfly or applied to the caterpillar will not necessarily translate into the metamorphosized version of itself once it shows up as a butterfly. A caterpillar does not wear the same clothing. For one thing, when a caterpillar is buying its t-shirts, yes, this is sounding whacked, but it's just a metaphor. When a caterpillar goes out to the t-shirt shop, it doesn't have to buy a t-shirt that factors in the need for wings, right? Because it doesn't have them. But once it sprouts wings, then it's going to have to change its shirt in order for its wings to have room to express. And I don't even think that's a far-fetched thought. So what I'm saying is, Cindy, maybe you have held that belief that if you just decided to go to neutrality, and I'm not asking you to believe what I'm saying go to neutrality and ask yourself if maybe it's just as easy to forgive ourselves as it is someone else. I mean, it's got to be one of three. It's either just as easy, it's harder, or it's easier, right? Those are the only three mathematical outcomes. It's just as easy, it's harder, or it's easier. Here is my hunch. My hunch is that whichever one we decide is so, that's the one we wind up experiencing. And my overall belief about life itself is that life is responding to the opinions we hold about it. And opinions can hold us hostage if we're not careful. So I am someone who checks his opinions fairly often to see, are they still true? I formed an opinion about gravity years ago, and I tell you what, I've been a believer in it for 61 years because gravity strikes me as an immutable law. But most of our opinions, I cited this in a show Ken and I did the other night when I talked about someone interviewed on September the 11th of 2001. If they had been interviewed at 7 a.m. in New York City and asked, would you ever jump out of a high rise? Would you ever jump out of a building from the 90th floor up? The vast majority of people would, of course, say no. I mean, very few, if any, and maybe no one would that morning. And yet 2 hours later, 200 people, I recently found out that was the count, 200 people had jumped to their deaths. And then what I extracted from that, the lesson, and I offered this up to Ken, was that the real answer, the really, really honest answer to most every question, there are exceptions, but the real honest answer to most questions is depends. Depends. So those who would have said no at 7 a.m., 2 hours later were presented with a scenario where they had fire in one direction and an available office window in the other, and there were no other options. So their options were 2, not 20, not 10, 2. And both of them included their death. So you either get to die by fire or you get to die by jumping. And in that scenario, it turned out that 200 people felt that jumping was the lesser of the two, and both being admittedly insanely difficult, really, really hard. And this is not a negative talk show, Ken. I want to have plenty of laughs tonight, but all I'm saying is that once we hold an opinion about something, that opinion turns around and holds us, whether it's true or not. So I want to make sure if we have an opinion about something that we've questioned it, and that includes our faith. It includes basically everything we've decided is so in life. I think we owe it to ourselves and the world to research and verify its validity.
You know, that's I've talked about it, cognitive dissonance.
Mm-hmm.
When we hang on to something so tight because it's rooted by our belief system. And I'm let me tell you, man, like in recovery in Alcoholics Anonymous and at 17 and a half years sober, I am 1000% sure of this. It talks about in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous that resentment is the number one offender to alcoholics and drug addicts.
Mm-hmm.
Number one offender. And well, look, you can't have a resentment. And so long-term sobriety just won't work if you have a resentment, right? So the only way to get through that resentment is there has to be an element of forgiveness. There has to be.
Right.
The only way that I know of, and it worked for me, the only way I know of is to pray for and send blessings to and love to the people that I wish to forgive.
Beautiful.
And it worked. And it worked quickly. It worked quickly.
You know, Ken, I had an elderly gentleman, and he was probably about my age, but he was elderly to me when he told me this because I was a teenager. I remember how old I was. I was 14. And this gentleman stopped me on a pier, a fishing pier on the Gulf of Mexico. And he saw me, I guess, looking off at the sunset and contemplating life, and just came up and started spouting profundities to me. I mean, it was one of those interesting life moments. And so I engaged him and we were talking, and it was beautiful. It was very stimulating conversation. And he said, you know, Glenn, and here's the thing I love about Southern people. I just love that Southern people, it takes them 2 syllables to say a damn 1-syllable name. Glenn. He goes, Glenn, anger and resentment are both poisons that will always do more harm to their container than any one they could possibly be poured upon. And I went, because I thought that was good.
Yeah.
And I've held on to that my whole life, to realize that at the end of the day, the person who will be pained the most by the holding on to a resentment is the person holding on to the resentment.
Yep.
And that it will rot their very container.
It will.
Because it does a tremendous amount of damage to us to harbor resentment. It just does.
It does. It does. I love the fact that from my fan page and the Breakthrough Walls page, we can now see the comments. I hate the fact that the Facebook personal page comments are not showing up. I see them over here on my phone. I don't hate it. That's a figure of speech, but it just kind of.
Well, just don't let your hate turn into a resentment, Ken.
You know what? I was thinking while I was out getting my water that this is actually my fault. You want to know why? Because I got
you accept
notified
blame for everything that goes wrong.
I got notified that Mark Zuckerberg was live today, and I'm like, I do not want to see Mark Zuckerberg. I don't want notified every time Mark Zuckerberg goes live. Why am I getting notified every time Mark goes live? So I went in and I clicked turn off notifications for Mark Zuckerberg going live. And I'm going to I immediately thought, watch him mess with my account now. It's like nobody puts baby in the corner.
Right.
Right. Well, that's what's going down here, man.
Can I,
Mark's like, oh, really? You're going to do that? Watch this.
Right. And Mark may be punishing you as we speak.
Thanks, Mark.
So Christy says, yes, resentment can cause physical pain and dis-ease. I always love pronouncing it that way instead of disease, but dis-ease in the body. And we've been studying in our workshop this past month the opposite of that, which is harmony, right? All things united and getting along. I want to address Weldon's comment over here.
Oh, here's the real problem. Brian just popped it up there. Yeah.
Brian, how did you used to like being at the workshop, buddy?
How did you used to like? So, hey, can
I'm
I,
playing, dude. I think that's very funny. Touche. Wait a minute. Score one for Brian.
Yeah, one for Brian. So, you know that, like, I absolutely love Jeff Foxworthy, one of my favorites of all time.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite ones that he did is, you know, if you think loading the dishwasher means getting your wife drunk, you might be a redneck.
Did you know that Jeff and I are buddies?
No, you're not.
Yeah, we are. I did a series with Jeff.
Did you really?
I did. I did a series with Jeff many years ago called Banner Times. I know all of his routines. I've been to many of his shows, and I've worked with 3 of the 4 of the Blue Collar Tour. The only one I've not worked with is Ron White.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So no, we're buddies. And one of I know all of them, but one of my favorite ones is if you go to the family reunion to meet women, you might be a redneck. Or if you've ever shot a deer out of your bathroom window, you might be a redneck.
I love that.
If you ever ask your relatives to come over to your new house to help you take the wheels off of it, you might be a redneck. If you've ever cut your grass and found a car, you might be. I love those. So Weldon said something here. And he's saying you make us think about our thoughts, and because of that, we're able to make better decisions.
Yeah.
I want to offer.
Wow, you're way up there in the comments.
Well, I'm trying to go back and catch a few that you know. Rebecca said something that I want to check out, but I want to address what Weldon is saying, because there is something that I would like to help everyone with tonight.
Can I finish my Jeff Foxworthy thing?
Oh, I didn't know there was more. I thought you were going to quote the one joke. Go ahead.
The part where he says, I am convinced that women do 99% of the work on this planet. He said, I'll give you an example. My wife, she could be out paving the driveway, y'all. And I will go out, open up the door and go, hey, baby, woo, it's hot out here. Hey, I just want to let you know I emptied that ashtray in the den, okay? He's
bragging
like,
about our minimalist efforts.
Yeah, men take all the credit and women do all the work.
Well, all Jeff's doing is underlining life as it is. You know.
I know. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead. I'm gonna give you.
Weldon was writing about decision making, and I want to offer a thought, and basically I'm willing to. If you guys will allow it, I'm happy to do some bleeding for you. And I'm referring to my own past. I'm happy to take a few lumps on my own noggin to offer up a lesson with regard to great decision-making. Okay, Ken, this is where I, for the first time in the history of our show, will ask people to, how do you do it? Drop a 1.
Yes.
Drop a 1 right now if you would like a very, very brief hint as to how to improve your decision-making process. Just drop a 1 in the comments.
There you go.
Like some helpful hints on improving your decision-making. And you got to tell me when, bud.
You got a 1.
Is that what I got? Is 1-1?
Nope.
Oh, Chuck has 1. And there's Karen. Okay, I got 3 1s. And if more want to pour in, Larry says 1. Good. Okay, just know that there's not a joke associated with this. You will walk away with much value because Ken and I are both committed. Yes, we love to laugh. We do love to laugh, but we also love to provide value. We love to leave. This is an old Boy Scout motto, which was we vowed as Boy Scouts to leave the campsite better off than it was when we got there. Yep. And I've always believed that the world is our campsite. And I know that Ken shares that opinion. So if we spend an hour or 90 minutes with you on a given evening, or his daytime show, Breakthrough Walls, he does 60 minutes and sometimes goes a little bit over that. I'll promise you one of the things Ken has in mind, sincerely he does, is value creation. He wants to make sure that he has not impeded into your life and not given you something for it. So we both feel that way. That being said, I think we were misled when we were first taught about decisions. And I think the really colossal misleading came in the 70s when we were taught, hey man, you got to do what you want, man. And that's the face of the person who educated us and just said, it's about doing what you want, man. You got to get your needs met, man. Right? Do what you want. And what I want to tell you is that doing what you want can actually be very, very problematic. And I will explain. I actually believe that is the lowest level of decision making available, is doing what you want. Now, I'm not saying don't do what you want. I'm saying there are 3 levels above that, and here's what they are. And that if you tap into the wisdom available to you from those other bandwidths of understanding, I'll call them that, then you know how a lot of times you feel like you're in some sort of emotional cul-de-sac and you can't make a decision. That's at least the way it feels. I don't know whether it's true or not, but it feels like that. It feels like you've been painted into a corner. You don't know what to do. And you tell all your buddies, I don't know. And the more you tell everybody you don't know, the more you don't know. So telling everybody you don't know what to do is also not a great idea, because you're affirming that you don't know. Here are the 3 levels that are beyond that will help clarify. And I promise you this stuff works. So we start out at what we want. Well, now what if we compare that with a higher level, which is what do we want most? And when you put those side by side, I wrote a chapter about it in a book many years ago called Gold Medal or Cheesecake. And the analogy being that if your coach is training you for a gold medal in track, let's say, for example, and the time trials are in 2 days, and there is an optimum body weight that you need to be at, and 48 hours before the meet, the coach catches you just scarfing out on massive amounts of cheesecake. So at that point, if I'm the coach that's been hired to help you win the gold, what I'm going to do is come over to you and go, look, you just got to tell me the truth about one thing. What's it going to be? Gold medal or cheesecake? Gold medal or cheesecake? Because right now, we can't be doing both. Not right now. In fact, I'll make you an offer. If you'll put the fork down, let's get back on track. Let's get you to win this thing. And when you win the gold, as your coach, I'll take us out for a lovely dinner that can include as much cheesecake as you want. But right now, the cheesecake has no place. It's not part of getting you to your target weight. So this is where you come up with, what do I want most? So if I were to ask you, for example, many of you might have fantasized of going to Australia, and someone else says, well, I really want my health. Now, those two don't need to compete, but what if they did? What if I gave you a choice that said, would you rather have your health or would you rather have a trip to Australia? I can't imagine that anyone in their right mind, given those two, this goes back to the analogy of, would you rather die by fire or die by jumping out of a window? Only these aren't dark options. It's simply, would you rather go to Australia or would you rather have your health? I think the average person would check health. So that helps us understand how to make better decisions. It's not just about what you want, it's about what you want most. There are 2 rungs above it, and I'll make this quick. The next rung up, 3rd level, is what consequence do I want? Or you could change the word consequence to outcome and base your decisions on the outcomes that the choice you wanted to make would produce. So now we're really using the adult brain and thinking in terms of, hey, wait a minute, we live in a choice, consequence, cause, and effect world, which means for every choice I make, that choice will produce an outcome or consequence. I think both words are acceptable, but some have attachments and they bring up feelings for people. So whatever word works best for you, whether it's consequence or what I say, or outcome. So if we're thinking outcome based, so you may want, for example, you may want to drink. You may want to drink, but having a glass of wine is one thing, and being a career drinker is quite another. And I don't have anything against alcohol, but I've seen it as a career kill my full blood brother, Brian. And he died this year from alcoholism. And so if my 62-year-old brother of Brian, if that 62-year-old version that passed away last March could have had a sit-down conversation with his 30-year-old version and said, here's a photograph. Here's a photograph of you in your own future. Here is what you look like 32 years from now, courtesy of drinking all day, every day. How do you feel about it now? And it's not maybe, it's definitely. Here's what it looks like. So now we can use a consequence to help inform and thus make a better decision. And then the highest level, and what I'm going to tell you is that more often than not, this is going to make previous difficult decisions quite the opposite. What used to be difficult is now going to be very easy for you when you use this 4-tiered plan. And level 4 is, what consequence do I want most? So for the review, it starts with what do I want? Then it becomes what do I want most? Then what consequence do I want? And finally, what consequence do I want most? So now we're making decisions based on the consequence we desire most, and we work backward from there. Start with the likely outcome that this choice over time, and we're looking at the macro, tends to produce an outcome. And once we do that, we can look. Thank you, Kara. Thank you, honey. It was painful and still continues to be, but I'm certainly okay. And you know, I did my best as a brother is all I knew how to do. Anyway, that was a bit of a ramble, but value is what was intended. And I can tell you that so many things that used to be difficult, once this was whispered gently to me from thin air, I have not struggled with decisions because I've jumped forward and thought, this thing I'm thinking about doing, implemented over time, is likely to produce what outcome? And just don't even edit it. Just speak the truth. What outcome is it likely to produce? Bam, here it is. Now, do I like that outcome? No. Then don't do it. It's plain and simple. Because if I'm going to do it anyway, it presupposes that I don't think on some level that we live in a choice, consequence, cause, and effect world, and I can do whatever I damn well please, and damn the consequences. And damn the consequences is a mindset that gets this world into a heap of trouble. So hopefully, Weldon, that was just a little bit of a rant on healthy decision making, and always start with what consequence do I desire most? Or again, what outcome am I after? And it helps us get over this whole overrated immediate gratification phase where we just want what we want and we want it right now. So
yes. Charles says learning to care for ourselves includes sleep, eat, exercise, work, forgive, save, have close relationships, love and trust, and commit to myself, etc., and feels really good.
I would have added lotion. With lotion, it feels really good.
Oh my God.
I would have put that on the tail end.
Oh my God. It puts the lotion on.
I love Weldon's use of the word unpack.
Yeah.
That's such a great word. Unpack this stuff and share.
It is. It is.
Listen, I'm going to borrow that one from Weldon, just like I borrowed dude from you, dude.
Yeah, that's a good one. It might be, it might even be better than dude.
I'm telling you, I'm about 1 week away from checking into a treatment center for excessive use of the word dude. There's got to be some sort of 12-step plan out there for me, isn't there, Ken?
I would like to take this moment for a little commercial break and let everybody know that I am now officially using Smilin CBD drops.
Is that elderberry?
This is elderberry and CBD oil in it. And I've never used it because of my...
Well, the show's getting ready to be a friggin' blast.
Well, I didn't know. No, man, I've never used CBD because everybody, I always thought there was THC in it. And I'm like, I'm a recovered alcoholic. I don't need that stuff. And so this dude sent me some of this, and Brett Weiss is the CEO of this company, and he actually was on my show the other day. Dude, he sent me this huge package of all this stuff, and he said, try it out. And so he got me to try it. And I've been having this pain, like right here on right in the joint of my left shoulder. Yeah. And I mean, wasn't even thinking about the pain. It's always there. And so I used this the other day, like he suggested, on air for the first time. And literally about 10 minutes after we finish up the program, it was gone. The pain wasn't there. It was gone.
That's a hell of a testimonial.
I was like, nah, maybe this is placebo. But then I thought, well, wait a minute. I wasn't even thinking about the pain. I just happened to think about it later, and I'm like, well, it's not there. What's going on? Look at all these people saying they use CBD every day.
You know what I usually do? If I'm feeling some discomfort, I like to put on an old album and just sit around and sing gently. Oh, I haven't got time for the pain. I haven't the need for the pain. Dude, how many people remember that song?
I got it. We're getting comments on my personal page still. Dr. Steve Taubman is over there. Steve, if you could come over to the Ken Walls fan page or the Breakthrough Walls page, we would be able to see your comments on the StreamYard thing and be able to pop it up on screen.
Listen, I want to elongate something Joel said. I want to elongate something a little more. It says a lot of folks don't think of the consequence. This is what Joel said. Don't think of the consequence and live that at the moment strong enough to avoid the choices they know are bad.
Well, look what Kara just said too. We gotta
My
recognize.
Poppy fired someone for calling him dude. That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, you know, he spent a lot of years becoming a priest, and you don't want just anybody calling you dude. It's not right, and it's disrespectful.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Did you write that? A lot of folks don't think of consequences.
I put it up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Right. So what I'm suggesting is if we could just add just a beat to our process of consideration. And in that beat, just consider that this thing I'm getting ready to do, that would be helpful if you could begin to play drums in the middle of my share, Ken. That would be awesome. In fact, why don't you play drums right now? And then I can know that you actually gave me a drum roll. I'll wait for it. I think it's an appropriate opening.
Go ahead.
No, I'm not joking. Don't tease me.
I just did it.
Do it.
You said add a beat. I was trying to add a beat.
If we could. Nice. Well done. If we could just add a beat, right? If we could just add a beat. Ken, I'm going to poke you for that one. Here, how's this feel? Does that feel good to your shoulder?
Oh, there. Oh, right there. A little lower. A little lower. No, you're supposed to go, does that feel good to your shoulder?
Does that feel good? How about it? Does that feel good to your shoulder, boy?
Oh, my God.
But,
CBD.
But I think the idea is that, yeah, if we could just stop. Look, we've all made less than terrific choices at some point.
Yeah.
And what if we had just stopped? Spirituality would say this about it. I know that my coach in metaphysics said that the vast majority of choices we make that don't serve us were made in a moment where just for a moment there was a temporary lapse in remembering who it is we are. And if we just stop and remember the truth about who it is we are and what it is we stand for, then we can go yes or I don't think so. Right? But if we get caught up in the moment, then there's pressure from the moment, there's pressure from desire, there's pressure from peer pressure, and there's no regard for consequence. All right?
So I put out an invite for people to join us.
Okay.
How about I put out an invite to people who are taking my course to join us because
Okay.
they need to go live and be on a live stream with me and the world famous, world renowned Glenn Morshower from Transformers and 24. By the way, if y'all haven't seen 24, don't start watching it now. And I mean that.
You mean during this broadcast?
No, ever. Don't. Like you won't sleep anymore. Joel
It has
Burr,
almost ruined your life. Is
the
that what I'm
first
hearing?
person to send me an instant message on Facebook Messenger will get the link to join the live stream.
Oh,
The
that's
very-
cool.
The very first person to send me a message on Facebook Messenger will get the link to join us and meet the infamous Ken Walls and the not so infamous. I mean, I strike that, reverse it. What's that from? Do you know what
Are
that's
you-
from?
No, I don't.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh, well, forgive me for not seeing that.
Glenn Wilder would say, strike that, reverse it. Thank you.
That
And
would
Joel-
actually be a good thing to say in a relationship. Just go ahead and strike that, reverse it. Okay, thank you.
So, Joel Boer, I need you to send me a message on my personal Facebook page. Oh, Karen Toddy sent a message. Oh, okay. Let me back up.
You can't take back your offer.
It has to be on my personal Facebook Messenger, not the other way, because they're a pain.
And accompanied by $100 bill.
100's gonna probably get you in a little faster. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
See, even Kara is a bit surprised. And
I know who Willy Wonka is.
But you don't obviously know the movie.
I know of it. I know that Gene Wilder starred in it and was dressed immaculately in bright purple clothing.
He was.
I looked at that and I went, I don't think I need this.
Oh, look at that. That is a very sweet comment. Read that out loud.
I loved Kiefer and enjoyed Aaron, but now I have great respect and love for the gentle, smart Glenn Morshower. Wow.
That is really nice.
Cindy, you're my new bestie, honey. Thank you. That's really, really sweet. And I received that.
Kara just gave you a homework
Um,
assignment.
I'll take things that won't be happening for 500, please, Alex.
Come on.
I am on stage tomorrow, Ken. I'm not going to be helped by watching Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Actually, it would help you tremendously because then you would be able to get on there and sing Oompa, Oompa, Oompa Tee Doo. I've got another puzzle for you. You see, you can't finish that song because you've never seen it.
I'm going to just sit here and chill and let you sing tonight.
I'm entertained.
There's Joel.
Hey,
Joel,
here's Joel Boer.
How's it
Thank
going?
you for your comment, man.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Hey, I want to, before anyone watching on my personal Facebook page, if you would just leave there, go over to the my fan page, Ken Walls business fan page, whatever you call it, or go to the Breakthrough Walls page. We will be able to see your comments. Otherwise, we don't get to see your comments because Facebook and StreamYard are in a fight.
So I've got something for Joel, Ken, which is that I'd love to play the game that we invite people in to ask a question.
Oh,
and they get to come in, and instead of getting to type it in the chat room, they get to just ask it live.
Oh, snap. Yes. Joel Boer. Am I saying
or if you don't have a
name
question
right?
and you just wanted to add a thought, then by all means do that.
Hey, Joel.
Yeah.
You know your last name is like really it's just Burr, but you complicated it and said no, it's not. It's Boer.
Well, yeah, I asked some professional speaking German people and they said it was Boer. So, I'm like, it's not Burr. I got all kinds of that kind of like Burr crap when I was growing up in school. It's, you know, then when you throw in my first name and I get Christmas songs.
Joel, the first Joel. Oh my gosh.
What is it? Me or you? So, Joel, what's going on, bro?
Working away. What else can I do? Keep on working.
I like your artwork back behind you.
Well, thank you very much.
That is definitely a green screen, but man, it looks great.
It is certainly a green screen, and there's a few lights that are off in the room that I'm in, so that's why we get a little bit of it's this side.
Yeah, a little bit of the staticky. But that really looks sharp.
Yeah, I just wish that I could, grab that cup there. But it works.
It's cold in here. There must be some Joel in the atmosphere.
I like it. I love it. No, I do want to say though, hey, I've enjoyed catching the lives with with you, Glenn, and with Ken. But definitely,
I mean, you're saying is you could have done just as well without me in it. I get it. Go ahead.
Glenn's, just the show, but
wow.
By all means. No, Ken, you know how I feel, man. I called you the other week.
I know.
With all genuineness, I really appreciate how genuine Ken is, because I know that he helps a lot of people, works with a lot of people.
Yes, he does,
and he doesn't get cocky about it.
Right.
There's some confidence about it.
Oh my God, there's Linda. I'll say hello to Linda in a minute. I love you, Linda. Go ahead. Yes, there is, and he's never cocky.
And rightfully earned confidence. You can rightfully have confidence, but there's sometimes what I see sometimes with some folks is this complete arrogant cockiness without taking the time for a little bit of humility. And I think humility is a powerful characteristic that a lot of people lack.
Yeah.
And all too often you pass it up and you never realize what opportunities you're really passing up.
Beautifully stated.
So do you have a thank you for your amazing kind words. He did call me the other day and said some of those very same words to me on the phone. And it was very kind of you. Thank you, Joel. You rock, dude. Joel's been a friend of mine now for, and dude, he's like 6'8" or something. How tall are you?
6'6".
Oh, I'm sorry.
I hit the doorway. I'm pretty close. Tippy toes. I'm hitting the doorways.
He's so tall, and I did not know that until we were at Grant Cardone's 10X Growth Con in Miami, and he texted me, "Hey, can I come up and meet you?" And I said, "Yeah." And he comes. Well, I'm like, "Holy crap, dude! Like he is a tall dude."
And I have no game.
I may not have said crap though.
I have no game. You picked me last on the team, pick. So
say, hey,
so you were never a basketball player?
No.
Yeah. Anybody watching on my personal page, jump over to my fan page or the Breakthrough Walls page so we can see your comments. There's a communication issue tonight, so please jump over there. Thank you. Sorry, go ahead, guys.
Ken, I'd take it a little bit easy with all that because Joel already expressed that I was the show.
Well, there you go. No.
To do that. This is how he exercises power and control.
That's right. No basketball to answer your question earlier, though.
So, what line of business are you in?
Well, I'm forever finding new ways to try to explain it there because to make it in an appealing way. But what I help companies do is with data and with information, help them to identify their audiences for marketing. So I do the geeky part of the stuff behind the scenes that helps companies grow.
Glenn, I've been telling him for years. I want you to help me coach him right now. Can we coach you right
now? Big data, right?
Hey, there's no extra charge for live coaching.
Can we
And hello,
coach you right
Stephanie
now?
Carter, I saw you
Hey,
squeeze.
you know
your face.
what? By all means, because I know that sometimes it's something I've been doing for a long time. So it's my techno babble, right? You know.
Yeah. So tell Glenn what you do again, quick, like in a brief
You've heard
overview.
of big data, right, Glenn?
And by the
sorry.
way, the other people that sent me a
Yeah.
message, I dropped the link in your messenger. If you send me a message on my Facebook Messenger, my personal page in this case, I will send you a link and you can join us. So tell him real quick again what it is that you do.
Right.
Your brief version.
We help companies put data into action with their marketing so that they can increase results.
Beautiful.
You've heard of big data, and it's things like that, but we connect it all and make it easy.
Well, so it sounds like that dovetails beautifully with what I was saying about we live in a choice, consequence, cause, and effect world. So if you're looking to help people with their results, that means by default, you're having to work with them on the choices they're making, because choices are what produce results.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, no, that's very true. Very, very true. We had one client that forever has been trying to grow their business, and they're still at less than 100 clients and don't know why. And at some point, you can't help them because they won't change.
But here's the thing. Like here's what I've told Joel in the past. Joel Boer.
There you go. You got it, man.
I'm like, can I just call you Joe Burr?
Hey,
Sure.
Ken, just think of a Cleveland Browns fan and you'll never mispronounce it.
There
A
you go.
boor, a boor.
Oh my God.
That's beautiful, Glenn. You actually said
So
it perfect.
so I told him, dude, your explanation of what you do is not sexy. You got to make it a little sexier.
Growth.
And
growth, success for companies.
well, but what's the problem you solve? What's the problem that you solve for companies? We have Karen Toddy coming on here in a second, y'all. She's in the green room hanging out.
Cool.
The simple problem is they're trying to grow, and to grow, your audience changes, and so you need to be able to stay in tune with that audience and be able to follow them and advertise to them. So that's
right.
What we do.
But what, like, okay, so Glenn, he
Mhm.
can say, let's say that you are speaking at an event in Las Vegas at Mandalay Bay, and
Right.
you're going to be on stage, and you have a book that you want to sell everybody in that audience, but you'd rather not mention it on stage. You'd rather maybe just have some ads pop up on their phone later saying, "Hey, here's Glenn Morshower's book, blah blah blah." Right? Well,
Right.
Joel has the ability, and let me bring Karen in. Karen, we're in the middle of this combo right now, but we got you. So Joel has this ability to oh, see, I like that. I like that right there, Kara. We could go with that.
I'll go with that. I'll take that.
So Joel has
Joe
the
Boo.
ability.
Boo. Yeah.
Joe
Boo. What's up, Joe Boo? That's it. Joe Boo, new brand.
That sounds like you. That sounds like the way you would talk to a child in the maternity ward. Joe Boo. Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss, Joe Boo. Boo boo boo. Joe Boo. Joe
Oh
Boo.
my
I like Joe Boo.
So he has this ability to, yes, Ernest just said it, proximity push technology. So he has the ability basically to get the data of every single cell phone that was in that arena on that day. So you could come back next week, call Joel and say, I was on stage at 10:30
Wow.
Vegas time, and I was up there for 1 hour, and Joel can go in and get the data of every cell phone that was active in that exact location at that exact time. That is sexy, man. That is really, really sexy. So, and then he can push ads out to those phones.
It makes you want to burn this, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
pretty much.
Yes, it actually does.
But we live in a society where we want all the convenience, and so it creates a byproduct, and it creates an ecosystem which fuels the whole economy and the whole system. So it's one of those things. It's like people ask me because I've been in this business for such a long time. They're like, well, do you opt out? I'm like, no, actually I don't. I leave them all on because I want to see who advertises to me because they're my prospects.
Yeah.
If they're doing it right, then I want to go after them. But
you got to make the you got to make it sexy, man. You got to make people go, wow, I need to hear about this.
They act terrified, but they want it.
Yeah, no, that's the reality, though, right, Karen?
It scares them to death. But they're like,
really, you can do that kind of stuff. It's like, how do you do it for me?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's crazy.
I had a friend of mine in Michigan. He was interviewing for a new job at a dealership, and he told them, he goes, I got a buddy that can do this. They're like, okay, I want to talk to him. He never got the job, but I have a new client. So,
wow.
But what they're going after is all their competitors. They want to get everybody waiting in the waiting room for service centers. Business. So
at the end of the day, Cindy's comment, guys. Cindy said that's close, but not quite sexy enough.
Okay.
Yeah. What's the problem that you solve?
See, that's the question I actually asked, though, Ken, because a lot of people ask, like, well, hey, what can you do? And the correct question to ask is, here's my problem, or what's your problem? How can we solve it? Because there are so many different ways to solve it, right? When you're trying to grow business, especially now, it's all changed. All the rules have just flipped upside down. And so people don't think about, they look for all the different widgets and gadgets they can get their hands on, but they don't look at even sometimes the solution to the problem is actually some old, basic stuff. You just need to market. You're not even doing that.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah. I have the same thing in my industry. Everybody is so technically far ahead than when they were, 10 years ago. Buyers already know what they want, know what they've seen. And as realtors, we're kind of like running behind trying to catch up with them. So it's usually some old school thing that no one else is doing that makes them stop and go, oh.
Hey. It's the personal touch.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Yes.
It's the personal touch. I was talking with a gal today. She's an insurance agent, sells life and health and all that kind of stuff. I says, in this package we're going to put together for you, we're going to print you some 4x6 postcards. And she's like, well, what's that for? I says, because you're going to write with a Sharpie each time you have an appointment. It was nice talking to you, and you're going to mail it out. It's the personal touch, and people lose that. Even in this day and age, Ken, you and I have talked for a long time. I can techno and geeko it out with everybody else, but the personal touch is where that's where you make the connections, and that's where you really grow business. And if we're trying to take care of what we love, our businesses do that. Mm-hmm. We can't lose track of that. Yeah, and that can easily happen in a situation like what we see going on. People are getting heated. People are getting anxious. And, that personal touch, not only does it grow business, but it grows relationships and makes the world go round.
But I go back to, hold it. I hear
it's
myself.
It's me.
Is it you? Oh, I go back to, that's a huge comment. You might want to look over if you click on live comments, you can read Ernest Odell.
Yeah.
But I go back to, it's really, really, really what you can do by like saying, hey, Glenn, or hey, anybody that's a speaker, any car dealer, anything, like I can target every single device that was in that arena and by doing a geo fence around it and deliver your ads to them nonstop.
Right. Oh, that's the same way that I've grown awareness, at least, to a good degree of what I can do. Like the 10X crowd is a big one that I go after.
Yeah.
If you've been to a 10X event, I guarantee you, I probably got you one way or another. But it's awareness. It's attention. And I've given lots of thought, Ken, to like your feedback as far as, man, it ain't sexy, when you're trying to describe it. And that's, we're looking for the hook always to try to, appeal to who we're talking to, whatever it may be, whether it be business or relationships or whatever the case may be, because it's all relationships. But we're always
Right.
looking for a better way to explain our hook
Yeah.
that we have. So
Glenn,
Yes.
what say ye?
You know, I'm fascinated by some of the terminology that's being thrown around, and you know, I'm so refreshingly comforted by the fact that the expression personal touch is still floating around out there, because it sure seems like it's been fading in in the last several years. So to hear someone who's quite a bit younger use the expression personal touch, usually those words are heard out of someone that's older, because that's what they're more accustomed to. And everything seems to be so rushed that you couldn't be more right. Personal touch is the deal.
Yeah.
I just didn't know there was much of it anymore, you know?
it's what's going to be a make or break, I think, for a lot of people. You can sequence stuff in marketing, you can do all that, but I think if you take the time at the end of the day to make those touches, you're gonna go far. I mean, I in my day when I was much younger, it's like you wrote a girl, you didn't text her.
Right.
So
Right.
So, hey,
Kara, I love Kara's comment.
I do too. Let's let Karen introduce herself.
So, hello, my name is Karen Toddy from
You're
sunny
gonna have
Southern
to
California.
speak up. You guys speak
Is that
up.
better?
Yep.
Is that better?
Way better.
Okay, it's Karen Toddy, sunny Southern California, doing the real estate thing, but trying to keep it real, like he says, personal touch. I'm a technical person. I was in IT telecom for almost 30 years before I switched to real estate. So, I can go down that IT rabbit hole really easy, and I have to constantly remind myself to back up, slow down, reach out. It's
Yeah.
a daily struggle.
Yeah. You're learning though, right?
I am because you when you see the results, it fuels you to keep doing that. Because IT people, we can get into that dark room and be just as happy as a clam. Yeah. So
My friend
That's all.
Stephanie Carter, who's on tonight, is also involved in real estate. I don't know if she's still in or if she just did a little drive-by love.
yeah, it's a strange world right now, especially with this COVID thing. It really took a bizarre turn. Every aspect reacted differently. Buyers kind of wanted to jump in and buy because they thought, I'm finally going to be able to win a bid. Sellers freaked out. I don't want buyers in my house. Investors started stocking up money because they figure, okay, people are going to lose their job, lose their houses, so they're waiting to pounce. So it's kind of a really bizarre market right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
By the way, Samuel Sneed and Jason Howland and anyone else over on my personal page, I see you, but we can't see your comments on the StreamYard because there's an issue with Facebook communicating with StreamYard. So if you jump over to my fan page or you jump over to the Breakthrough Walls page, we will be able to see you. This might be my favorite comment of the entire night, actually.
Joe Boo. Joe Boo.
Joe Boo.
Right.
What up, Joe Boo?
as long as you say it and connect it, I'm good with it.
Now, that could also be a code for Joe booty call.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, once you got to know someone real well, it could be Joe Boo.
Hey, Joe Boo. So, let's see.
You made my wife laugh really hard in the other room.
Oh, good.
That's
I'm
awesome.
obviously playing, but it's cute. I like Joe Boo.
Yeah.
does it say?
So what else? What you got? Any questions from myself or Glenn, Karen, or Joel? Joe Boo.
I do for you, Ken.
Okay, go ahead, Karen.
Is that right? Do you? I know you do your classes, but do you like target specific industries to try and give them to buy your product, or you just I don't want to say just have it out there because you're more than just having it out there. Um, but do you target different groups like, hey, this will work great for you? Kind of an
That's a
off the wall
great
question.
question. You mean with my course?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So I honestly have not run one single ad. I've not targeted anything. I've signed up a bunch of people from doing some Facebook lives.
Mhm.
There's Samuel Sneed coming on. We see you now. So I have not, and I've honestly, I've been so busy with coaching and teaching people one-on-one and a lot of other things. I have not done what I actually need to do to push that out on a massive scale, which is a webinar where I go in and show the value and show everybody. I mean, I have 65 videos in training in that course, in-depth stuff, but I've not done any webinars, which is what I need to do. I haven't done it yet.
Although we are doing a webinar together this week.
We are doing, yes, we're going to be, we're speaking at Tamara Thompson's event on Wednesday.
Wednesday, the 6th of May.
Yeah. Yeah.
Happy
I
new
saw it.
month, everyone. Happy new month.
Yeah,
I know.
really.
So, hey, it's my birthday month, so
Hey,
Are
Yeah.
you a Taurus?
yes, I am.
Yeah, baby. Come on with it.
Yes,
Come
Yep.
on with it.
when's your birthday, Karen?
May 13th.
Well, happy early birthday
Thank you, thank you.
and happy Uno de Mayo. I mean, it is, isn't it?
It is. It's
Yes.
Uno de Mayo.
Uno de Mayo.
Right now, it is officially Uno de Mayo.
Yeah.
See,
But
now
you're
it's
gonna
been
say
when Glenn says
Dane,
it in his accent, it makes sense. When you say it,
Dane,
it's like,
you're gonna
what?
say right. It's Uno de Mayo, my friend.
There you go.
If you're gonna say, I want you to say perfectamente, okay?
Right. You
can't
said it
do it.
like a guy that was born in what, Lake Village, Ohio? Or
Yeah.
Yeah, here's Ken
Indian
Wall.
Lake.
Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás?
exactly.
How's everybody?
I was
Can I
like,
get
what?
some tortillas?
Uno Mayo. like what?
Look at that. Joan said her mother would have been 103 today. Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, she died a couple of years ago.
Wow.
Joan, I love you, honey. Happy birthday to Mama. By the way, I want to suggest something for you that's a great ritual that Carolyn and I do. When my brother's birthday, this was the first posthumous birthday. It was the first February without him this year. And every death date we have in our family, we just rock out the song. We just go ahead and sing. We light a candle and we sing like they're standing right there in front of us. And I got to tell you,
That's awesome.
it keeps death from marking the end, of the relationship.
Yeah.
Because love lingers and love is everlasting. So I think it's beautiful. Here's the problem. If we stop singing to them, and I'm gonna say it with an accent here, the minute we stop singing to them, then we allow things to die. But if we can go ahead and just sing, then you can keep them as alive as you want. So every time my dad's birthday rolls along, I don't miss a beat. Same with her mom, same with her dad, same with her brother. Both of us lost our brothers 2 years apart, and we sing to them. And I have to tell you, we feel good when we do. It feels so good because what we're missing is that connection. Well, if what we're missing is the connection, then why not participate in the friggin' connection? Just
Amen.
say yes to it. So I want to encourage our audience, when you've got a special date in connection with a deceased loved one, like a birthday or an anniversary or whatever it is, just light up a candle and have at it.
Yep.
Nice.
I love that.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So Karen, do you have any, did I answer your question?
Yeah. I was just curious because as a realtor, me personally, I struggle with my face being on video and sending out videos. And just in the last few months, I've gotten better at it where I've done videos and sent them out, and I've been trying to figure out what platform to use in the whole 9 yards. So I
Yeah.
was toying with doing your course, but I had wondered if you marketed it to realtors, because that's our relationship is entirely our business is entirely relationship driven. If
That
we're
and that
gonna
is
be
literally
successful.
what that's what my entire course is about. I'm not trying
Yeah,
to sell
yeah.
my course right now. It sells
Oh, I
itself.
know, I know.
It's-
I was just curious, is if you thought about doing that, because as
yeah.
realtors, it's all about being personal and being out there and getting your face out there.
I think, if I had a house that I wanted to list, I would find the most active realtor on Facebook I could find. And I mean Facebook lives, because that's what gets the most eyeballs. And putting out Facebook lives, doing walkthroughs of houses be the best way to
Yeah.
market yourself. And because you're not doing it for you, you're doing it for your client.
Exactly.
And
that-
and Ken, speaking of effective marketing, I have to tell you, I love the name of the first page of your book. When I was looking at the course, when I looked, just page 1, that is such a great name for that first page.
Of my book?
Yeah, right where it says enter course.
Yeah. That's a copyright violation, I think.
Oh my God.
It's just a classic name, because who's not going to get interested in reading that? You know what I mean?
True. That's true. You're right. Thank you for acknowledging.
You're welcome.
The suspense.
I know. It's like, oh, what's next?
Hey,
Oh my
Ken,
God, it's 2.
Yes, sir.
this goes all the way back to 10:08 my time, but Rebecca Evans said, I just wish people could think, okay, you're my person. I love you. Let's go do this life thing together and be patient, understanding, and forgiving while growing together, flaws and insecurities, and all because you are each other's person. Well, yes, yes, and yes. And the point is, that's available as long as people can give up their need to be right.
Yep.
Just give it up and just decide to trade all that nonsense in for love. I want to love you more than I want to fight with you. And then all of a sudden you can just love each other, warts and all. That relationship is not, here's what I want to clear up tonight in terms of it being a myth. That is not a myth. That is an available relationship. And all it takes, I tell you what it takes. It takes both people knowing that it's available, because one knowing that it's available and the other one not a great recipe. But if both people believe that's entirely doable, that's when magic happens. So you're absolutely right, Rebecca. Thank you for that.
Yes.
Yes.
My husband and I are going on 33 years.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Good for you.
There we go.
This last year has been hideous. He lost both his mom and his birth mom within
Oh,
9
wow.
days of each other. And then this week we put my mom on hospice. So it's been nuts.
Oh.
And it's just, we're Team Toddy. We're doing this.
Wow.
Life.
Good for you.
So.
Wow.
Team Toddy. I also think there comes a time when you quit auditioning your friends and you quit auditioning your primaries.
Mhm.
Do you understand what I mean by auditioning?
Yeah. Yeah.
It means you give them the job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You quit making them audition for it.
yeah.
Like you've got the
yeah.
role. So
Quit waiting
Ken
to
has
see
the
what comes
role.
next. Yeah.
Yeah, Ken has the role of my bud. He's already been cast. He doesn't have to audition for it.
Mhm.
And so it's not very kind of me. I actually thought
Thank you.
Ernest was
Thank you,
getting ready
Ernest.
to congratulate us on our marriage, Ken.
Thank you, Ernest.
I think there are probably a lot of people wondering when the ceremony will occur, but I'm hoping that lands for you guys, as I see a lot of people requiring that their partner audition and audition and audition all over again. I mean, at some point, we've got to just cast someone and say, you're in, just like you would a play. At some point, you cast the actor and say, you've got the role.
Yes.
You've got the role.
I think a lot of people, when something gets really difficult, they feel like all of a sudden they have to reset completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes you do. Sometimes you do have to reset completely. Maybe not on what you're talking about.
True, but they're looking for. You were saying something at the very beginning of this live, as far as like the suit that you would wear. That would you buy the suit today versus that? And I was thinking of something else. I think at the time, but it's like people always look for the same suit from 20 years ago, right? They expect the suit to be the exact same way, and it's not. It's just simply not going to be,
Right.
and that's okay. Look at the beautiful outfit. I mean, for crying out loud, look at what was popular. Talk about suits. It's like, look at what the suits were popular back in the 30s. They came back. There's moments, but the point is you grow and there's new things. And if you're only focused on that past, you never see the new developments that you both have become, and how much richer that actually makes things. I mean, my wife and I, we have our good times, we have our bad times. I'm sure, Karen, you've been married long enough. You got the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And the bad times
strangle each other, right?
The bad times help formulate, almost like the reasons to have the good times. The bad times are not really bad times. They're just times that you handle differently.
I think it's only fair, by the way, that I let you guys know that Joel is an ordained minister. So,
see.
What?
But you know what's
what
weird
church?
is,
I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh, wow.
Joel
That's very cool.
He is well trained in the ministry.
cool.
He knows all about love.
I want to give a shout
That's a
out
good
to Linda
thing.
Brown. I want to tell Linda that I love her too. It's a dear friend of mine that you just highlighted her comment up in Vancouver, British Columbia. And it's nice to at least know that you're here with us, Linda, even though we're not right next to each other where I can give you a big hug. But hugs await you, dear, when we get on the backside of this virus situation. What a sweet, sweet friend of mine there in Canada.
That's awesome.
When you asked that question, Glenn, about the suit, I actually took it completely differently. Like when Ken answered that, he would buy a suit now. That would have been my response, because I'm more of a form over fashion kind of person, and I'm like, of course I'd buy it now, and I would just make it work then. We make our relationship that we have and we grow, and whatever's happening in 20 years, we will make it work.
Right. But I guess what I was trying to suggest is I don't need to feel guilty at age 61 that I no longer fit into my bar mitzvah suit.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was bar mitzvah. It's not a joke. I was bar mitzvah because my stepfather was Jewish. And not so surprisingly, I'll promise you that bad boy does not fit me anymore. And nor is it supposed to.
Yeah.
I was 13. And so there are things in life that we change and we grow, and we don't fit in certain clothing. And what we need is someone who is by our side that recognizes that and can admit, hey, neither do I, and therefore it's okay. We're balanced, and we can always tailor the new clothing.
Right. Yeah, and it goes back to make it work.
Right.
If
you tailor and
you
you
tailor
The
it.
buttons are practicing social distancing. So, I mean, you just got to,
Yeah. Did you see that? Did you see what Ernest said?
you got
My
to,
suits have shrunk and the buttons are
yes.
they get so fixated as far as where things were at. They never can enjoy the beauty of how things have become. And it's,
Well, and I also think, so this is a yes and Joel. I think that we've been married. We've been together 43 years. We've been married 41. We broke every rule there is. And there were some hardships associated with that. Of course there were. But the reality is, the changes that occur between ages 19 and 18 and 61 and 60 are rather dramatic. But neither one of us ever held the other one in some sort of guilt for changing. Changes the natural order of things.
well, I think people too, they try to figure out how to process things as time goes by, right? And they almost feel like they're locked in because they're processing something there. And the reality is sometimes you just need to go through, you're going through these different moments. You're figuring out things from maybe that you were going through when you were younger.
Right.
Or new environments are pressuring you. And I think a lot of times people too, like, I'm kind of curious, unfortunately, how much this current situation of things is going to affect a lot of people in a negative way, where it doesn't.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
This situation is not going to be it's it's not the cause of whatever happens for some people. It's just,
But it can certainly be the catalyst in some way.
it can be, right. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. As long as people,
Thank you, Linda.
hopefully enough people realize that.
Well, I think a primary issue is people panic much too quickly in friendships. It doesn't matter, because this is true of any relationship, whether it's a bromance, it's a marriage, it's a business partnership. I think people panic far too easily when new car smell disappears, as though new car smell is what determines or defines a relationship. Hey, new car smell disappears from cars. It's what it does. But that doesn't mean it's time to sell the car.
Right. No.
Right? Just because new car smell has differed anymore, has disappeared any more than what idiot goes out and chops their tree down in their front lawn because it's winter. Right?
Right.
I mean, it's lost its leaves, and you go, "Oh, we got to chop it down. It's dead."
Yeah.
And the reality is, relationships have winters.
Well, and what people do, I think, sometime, and this is a couple years ago, I was preparing a talk, a spiritual discussion talk on honesty, and this is something that I just thought of, and I polled some people and I asked, kind of like, "Wait, what's honesty to you?" And one of the people kind of responded along the lines of, "Well, when I see what's good for me and those that are closest to me, that's how I know it's honest." Now that sounds good, and you might even click like if you saw that on Facebook. But the mindset, though, is a little self-centered, because you're only looking out for what's you and yours. That's it. And although some things you got to look for your loved ones that you care about, it's that narrow-mindedness that sometimes that limits you from progressing forward as well, or doing the right thing at the right time. Because sometimes the right thing may not feel like it's the best thing for you at the time.
Right.
Because you're in the moment. And,
Well,
and
that's
so
where a mature person cultivates a recognition of the value of macro over micro.
Yep.
Yeah.
You
have to take yourself out of the equation
is
quite often.
part of recognizing maturity in general is something that recognizes that micro is highly overrated. Right. The magic is in the macro, because I'd much rather feel good for a lifetime than for a moment.
I knew a guy that had, he's still around, I'm sure, but in the meetings I used to go to, he would say, I'm as honest, and he had 17, 20 years sober, something like that. He said, I am as honest as my dishonesty allows me to be. And he said, and he would say, when I first got, he said, when I first got sober, he said, I was a drunken horse thief. Now I'm just a horse thief.
Right. I've actually heard that saying before.
But I mean, so look, we all, I met this guy. He was a psychiatrist, and I was selling, I've told this story before, but I was selling for this bathroom remodeling company, and he was buying a new bathtub for this house. He was giving the house to his daughter and granddaughter or something. And so he was having all this work done, and I went out to quote it, and I said, well, it's, he said, well, how much is it? And I said, $4,000. And I said, and it's 10% off while I'm here. That way the company doesn't have to pay me to come back out. And so we give you a discount while I'm here, 10% off. So it's $3,600 for everything. And he said, okay, is that your best price? And I said, yes. And he goes, come on, give me your best price. And I said, I just did. It's $3,600. He said, you're lying. I said, no. And then I got pissed off, and I'm like, no, I'm not. And he's like, come on, you are. I know you can do better than that. I said, no, I honestly can. He goes, you're not telling me the truth. And I said, I'm telling you the truth. He said, I am a psychiatrist. I know when people are not telling the truth. And I said, well, then you better go back to school and work on that, because I am telling you the truth. And he said, look, you're taking this the wrong way. everybody lies. Everybody on this planet lies. We have to lie. And let me explain what I mean. If you told yourself the truth about everything going on around you, you would go stark raving mad, and so would every other person on this planet. So you have to lie to yourself. And sometimes you have to lie for survival purposes, but always do your best to be honest. And that I'll never forget that moment. I said, all right, fine, I can do it for 3,200. No, I'm kidding. I don't know what I said, whatever it was, but he ended up buying from me. But I still said, it blew me away because he said, everybody lies. And I was like, dude, you are freaking crazy, you whack job. I'm not lying to you. And, and then he's like, look, you could probably make a call to the owner of the company. I'm like, no, he's back east playing golf at his country club or something, dude. I can't make a call to that guy. And so his point was, and it goes back to my buddy saying, I am as honest as my dishonesty allows me to be. Anybody that says I never lie, I always have told the truth, every single statement that came out of my mouth for my entire life, well, they'll lie to you about other things too.
So here's the shortened version of that, Ken. Anybody who tells you they never lie just did.
Yes, that's the truth. That is the truth. That is the truth. I don't care how close you are to somebody. There's a pretty good chance that you're not going to talk about certain things from your past with that person, or there's certain things in your life that that it's going to your grave. Everybody has been through stuff in life that they're like, you know what? We'll just pretend that never even happened. Just pretend that didn't happen. So it's life, man. It's part of being human. It's just part of being human. And Glenn, when I said, hey, you want to do a quick live stream? You said, I'm tired, bud, but I'll give you 1 hour.
A quick live stream?
When have you guys ever stayed to the time you're supposed to?
Live.
What'd you say, Karen?
When have you guys ever stayed to the time you were supposed to?
Never.
Like how late were you at the studio yesterday, Glenn? Because you ended up going like.
You're talking about moving my stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were supposed to have gone to the studio.
You want to give me a minute to tell you about that?
Yeah, do it.
I went up and cried my eyes out. That's what I did.
Oh.
I did. I went up there and thanked God out loud for the blessing that those walls have provided us with for the last 5 years. I started losing it, and I enjoyed losing it and felt it fully, because that's how we process. I am a big believer in not stifling emotion. I think it is one of the most unhealthy things people do. I think there's a reason God gave us tear ducts, and our instructions were to use them. It's part of the natural design. And people who the minute they see someone start to cry, they hand them a tissue. I think that is such a bad thing to do, because it's somehow trying to stop what's perfectly natural. So in the workshop, we teach people to mop it, don't stop it. Mop it, don't stop it. Wait till the deluge is over and then mop it. But when you're done, don't try to stop it. Don't try to prevent it. When you try to stop yourself when you have the urge to cry, that is as foolish as shoving a cork up your butt when you have diarrhea.
Right.
It's the same principle. I know that's a harsh image, but what moron would say, you know what you need there, son? You need yourself a cork. No, you don't. You need to get it out of you. You need to get it out of you. This is called Southern common sense. If you've got diarrhea, the last thing, I've never had anyone say, you know what I need to do? I need to hang on to this diarrhea. I want to hang on to it a little longer. Man, the whole idea is get it expressed. So I went out and cried my eyes out last night, and it felt good, because first of all, when we cry, what is the story being told? The story being told is that it matters. When we lose a
Yes.
loved one and we cry, it's just that we are experiencing the loss and it matters. And I understand it's a physical building and there will be a new physical building. But in the meanwhile, I'm now touching those walls for the last time. And yes, I did walk over to each one and kiss the wall and thanked it for being part of my special workshop for the last 5 years of my life. And then I went and stood where I normally stand when I give the opening spiritual talk for the evening or daytime classes. And then I also went and leaned back against the wall where my director's chair has been situated. And I fully breathed in, this is the last time that I will be in this room. And this room has meant so much to me. And I shed my tears, and my wife and I left the building, and I felt appropriately expressed.
That's fantastic.
That's awesome, dude.
But that's what we believe. You know, we don't believe in running from emotion. We don't believe in hiding. And I think some of the biggest physical ailments, disease, and so forth, diseases are rooted in the avoidance of what's natural. And
Yes.
people not venting and moronic instructions like real men don't cry. You know, Ken, that's one of my 9 biggest lies we were ever told is real men don't cry. I don't know how that instruction, that bit of terrible life coaching made it out into our world that real men don't cry, which completely presupposes that the creator accidentally installed tear ducts in men. It was some sort of cosmic mistake. And I can really see God going, oh man, I really blew it on that one. I sure meant to only put it into women, but I kind of had an oversight. Sorry about that. So,
or suck it up, cupcake.
yeah, suck it up, cupcake.
Well, even in the scriptures, it talks about how God's heart can feel hurt, right?
Yeah.
And it even comments in the scriptures how Jesus cried. He was perfect.
Yeah, it's the shortest verse in the Bible. Jesus wept.
Yeah, so he was touched by the moment, and I think where some people take that to the excess, so they just cry about everything, and that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the bottling up of genuine when you should show a tear, when you should show some heart, some real some real you.
Yeah, and I don't even know if there's a should, Joel. It's just that you might. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You might not, but it needs to not be a problem if you do. And
Right.
frankly, if an emoter, someone who emotes with ease, should not hang out with people that have an issue with that, because that's a real misalignment.
So we've got people still over on my personal page. Just so you guys know, I can't put your comments. We can't see them. Only I can see them on my phone. So if you're on my personal page, if you hop over to my fan page or Breakthrough Walls, but Donna Leffler is in here. She says,
Go ahead. I'm sorry, buddy.
She said, I really like your late night lives. Not many are doing that. She said, great wisdom right there. Colleen Copenhaver is in here. Hey, Colleen. Roxy Maddox says, only real men do cry.
Roxy,
looks like Mike Muni. Mike Muni was in here.
Oh, nice. Hey, Mikey.
Love Mike. He's a good dude. So hop over to Breakthrough Walls page or to the Ken Walls fan page. But we are going to have to wrap this up, Glenn.
Yeah.
I know you're. I'm going on very.
I'm speaking at an event tomorrow, and I want to have some voice left.
Yeah. So listen, I think now's a good time. If you guys do, I'd like to wrap this up.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Glenn. It's a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.
Same,
Yeah,
Joel.
thank you for letting me join.
Karen,
Appreciate
good to see you again, honey.
Good to
You too.
see you
Thank you for
guys.
letting me
Thank
join.
you for stopping in. And Glenn, thank you, dude. Love you.
I love you, bud. Have a beautiful weekend. I'll speak with you tomorrow before I go on stage.
Oh yeah, I'll be. I'll be there.
Yeah, 4:00.
Yep.
5:00 your time.
Yep. I'll be there. All right,
Okay,
you
buddy.
guys all have a great night, and thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate y'all. And hey, Sunday night we have our show,
Yes.
the Ken and Glenn Show, with a guy named Scott. Don't
Scott,
miss it.
I know, Miss Scott. I need
8
to see
p.m.
it.
8 p.m. Eastern.
I need my Scott
5
voice
p.m.
switched.
Central. I mean, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific time.
That's right.
Yes.
Forget about the mountains.
Joel, Karen, good night. Ken, love you, bud. We'll talk soon.
Good night.
All right. We'll see you guys. Have a good night.
Thank you.
All right.